Nobody is complaining about Crimson Desert stealing gameplay elements from The Witcher, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto, and many others. Pearl Abyss seems to have pulled the best elements from all of these titles to give us an incredible looking action RPG. Watch till the end to see the most blatantly stolen elements of them all. Welcome to Gameless Plus, I'm Josh, and here are 10 Crimson Desert gameplay elements stolen from AAA games. Starting the list off at number 10, Combat and Crime. I had nearly forgotten about Crimson Desert until the game's brand new trailer kicked me in the face. There's a realistic feel to this that is really striking. The water reflections, the movement, the lighting effects, the explosions, the fight choreography, and the animation are all very impressive. The combat in this game is clearly inspired by the likes of Assassin's Creed Valhalla and the previous games in the series. You play as a mercenary that relies on your companions in your mercenary company to battle together. There are obviously lots of weapons like swords, axes, pistols, cannons, and exploding barrels. The horseback fighting looks great and is clearly inspired by Ghost of Tsushima. The fluidity of movement looks fresh and snappy. Hopefully it feels as good as it looks. The comparisons in combat continue from a less recent game here with a boss fight that is very reminiscent of Nier Automata. Pearl Abyss has no shame in pulling from these excellent battle gameplay systems. Crime is also an element in this game, as we see here. This element is in tons of games, from Skyrim, Fallout, and Starfield where you can do it, but it's not generally a very good idea, to games like Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption where it's extremely common to commit crimes. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you have a lot more choice on committing crimes or not. Following a life of crime or choosing a generally noble path affects your character as the story progresses. I really wonder how much crime will affect your story in Crimson Desert. The fact that it pops up on screen with a warning like that makes me wonder if there's a bounty system. I mean, you do play as a mercenary, so what is criminal in one place may not be considered as such in a different situation or location. Next at number 9, environmental destruction. Who doesn't like to destroy things in games? Much like Battlefield 4, you can destroy structures, and it looks like you could even knock down whole buildings. I feel like this is one of those elements that is underused in games these days. Even Minecraft has an element of destruction if you choose to knock stuff down. In Crimson Desert, this element can be used in battle to help crush enemies and cause chaos, which looks like a lot of fun. Hopefully there are some really creative ways of knocking stuff down as you play through the campaign. Next up at number 8, Sprawling Open World. Originally announced in 2019, Crimson Desert was going to be another massive multiplayer online game, but now it's a single-player open-world action RPG, and boy does it look pretty. Some of these shots make me think of Red Dead Redemption 2, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the Horizon games, and Ghost of Tsushima. Just beautiful details here. The engine is essentially a rebuild of the Black Desert Online system, but clearly they have worked a lot on polishing this up. Although there's a bit of pop-in in some of these shots, it really does look fantastic. Granted, this is an early trailer running on a very high-end system, but if it even looks close to this, we are in for a treat. The details are so intricate, I am really actually blown away by this. The story is set in a war-torn realm called Pywell. It's divided into 3 regions. One is in the plains, one is in the desert, obviously Crimson Desert, although it doesn't seem to have any red sand. Oh, bloody desert, got it, okay. The 3rd region here is the frozen and icy cold snowy region. All of these regions with their separate aesthetics look downright gorgeous. At number 7, Notice Board Quests. An obvious steal from other games is the notice board that looks very much like The Witcher 3, largely because it's set in a village. It's definitely become a pretty common feature of modern open-world games. But you know what, it's always good to have something extra to do in a region that you've already finished your main quest in. In this trailer, we see our main character doing a lovely little side quest to save a lost sheep for a young boy. Obviously, our main character has a soft side and isn't just about destruction and the crimson blood of his enemies. I'm sure just like The Witcher and various other games, these notice boards are going to be a major source of side quests through our journey in Crimson Desert. Some of the most entertaining pieces of The Witcher 3 were quests found on these boards, finding strange beasts, bounties, and unraveling mysteries that had absolutely nothing to do with the main storyline. This game was originally supposed to come out in the winter of 2021, so I'm hoping they've had enough time to really beef it up with some side quests that actually feel meaningful. Coming in at number 6, horse taming and animals. Much like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, you can tame horses and keep them in stables. Oh right, you can also do that in Red Dead Redemption 2. This obviously is a welcome addition to the game. There's something really lovely about finding a specific horse that you like, getting it to calm down, mounting it, taming it, and finally making it your horse. A trusty companion that you have to do a little work for makes them feel much more important. My main horse in Red Dead Redemption 2 was by far my favorite horse I've had in any game, largely because she was so hard to find and tame, and then turned out to be one of the best possible ones in the game. I'm sure this game has a tiered system of quality horses similar to Zelda and Red Dead. Besides horses, you can see that there are plenty of other animals in the game. It seems you could just pet them and hang out with them, but who doesn't like animals and interacting with them, in games or in the real world? We see our main character here acting like the Pied Piper with a bunch of rats following him. Maybe we can use them in battle somehow? That would be fun. Anyway, we'll find out soon. Fishing in this game is also a fun feature. It was in Red Dead Redemption and was recently added to Skyrim. That's a whole sub-game unto itself that people can really get into. This giant crab that our hero is seen killing here is a black desert stoneback crab. So clearly there will be a crossover of creatures from Black Desert to Crimson Desert, which makes sense. At number 5, technology and powers. Looking at this technological crossover stuff, it feels very much like the virtual reality elements that are included in Assassin's Creed games. He's clearly using portals and going from one place to another. Maybe these are just fast travel locations, but it looks like it's much more involved than just that. The inclusion of mechanized creatures that I'll talk about later indicates some kind of time jumping or a secret modern element to the plot. Powers are also a thing here. They seem to be used quite a bit in your exploration and in puzzles like you see here while connecting conduits with electricity. This feels very much like Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Even this shadow companion here that can interact with items in the world is very blatantly like Ultra Hand in Tears of the Kingdom or Magnesis in Breath of the Wild. Next, at number 4, parkour and climbing. We get some glimpses of parkour like climbing in Crimson Desert that screams Assassin's Creed when climbing up buildings and trees, then immediately also screams Horizon as our hero climbs up this Lord of the Rings looking tree ant, much like Aloy climbs Tallnecks in Forbidden West and Zero Dawn. I wonder if climbing up opens up a new area in the map like in those games, or if it's just a specific scene. Either way, the climbing is very much like the other games, which again is not a bad thing. At number 3, original main character. No character creation in this game, but that is okay. I've seen some people talking about how the lack of character customization is a big flaw in this game, but I personally just don't see that as a problem. This game is third person, much like Zelda, Horizon, Assassin's Creed, and Red Dead Redemption, among many others. All the main characters in those games are excellent, and not all games need character customization. The main character here goes by the name Macduff, and he seems to be a pretty solid protagonist. We don't have a lot of details on his origin story beyond him being a mercenary, but I definitely get a male Aloy vibe from him. I'm hoping he's really endearing and can be added to the list of great video game characters. Even though you can't create your own character from scratch in Crimson Desert, it definitely has options to choose from for clothing and armor just like in most AAA titles. So at least you can change Macduff's overall look. I'm just hoping they allow you to choose a look but keep the stats of other items like in Assassin's Creed. I hate it when you have to keep the look of a specific piece of armor because you want its stats. I feel like that mechanic in games needs to be permanently retired. I'm guessing it'll have that flexibility, but we'll have to wait and see. Next up at number 2, Mech Monsters. Again, we have another Horizon comparison as we see this scene with a big old mechanical dragon. The animation of this thing looks insane. There's also some other kind of robot closer up that seems to be fighting Macduff. Not much is revealed here other than it's a very cool tease. But if the older trailer for the game is still accurate, there are both mechanical dragons and regular ones. This is a great shot from the older trailer of a big old regular dragon dodging projectiles that looks awesome as well. Maybe there are parallel realities in this game, time travel, all these crazy mystical elements have me very curious. Which brings us to our final gameplay elements that are clearly stolen. At number 1, Sky Islands, gliding, and skydiving. Again, with a blatant steal from Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, is the vast array of sky islands we see here. Along with the skydiving element, it almost looks like a Tears of the Kingdom scene with a graphics mod attached to it. I am not complaining, it looks awesome. Gliding is another obviously copied element here, and it looks very cool. Macduff uses some kind of shadow monster cape transformation for gliding, then landing back on your horse. Why does this look so good? What exactly is that cape made of? Somebody compared the cape to the Banshee Queen from World of Warcraft, which definitely has a similar look. This trailer wraps up with a crazy couple of skydives, leaving us with more questions than answers. Is Macduff doing some kind of interdimensional jump during the skydive? It looks so cool. I'm really excited to see what this is all about. Crimson Desert was announced all the way back in 2019 for release in 2021. I thought it looked so cool back then, but then it got delayed. Now with it re-emerging here in 2023 looking even better than before, people are speculating a release of 2024. Though sadly there's no solid information on that yet. It definitely looks like they're getting close, but whatever the case may be, I say take your time, guys. It would really be a shame for this to turn into a bad game after all this time. If Pearl Abyss really knocks this one out of the park like they look like they're trying to do, we are in for an awesome game. So there you have it, 10 Crimson Desert gameplay elements stolen from AAA games. I think this game has an insane amount of potential, from gameplay to graphics to storyline, but what do you think? Which of these blatantly stolen elements do you think is being translated the best? Do you think that Macduff is actually a worthy and likable new character? Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, it really helps. And if you want to see all my upcoming videos, click that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, I will see you next time on GameList Plus.